So there's a question that I get asked a lot. People email me, they ask me, I'm interested in hypnosis. I've done a little bit of hypnosis study. I've practiced hypnosis. I've even gone out and done some street hypnosis. And I'm interested in taking up hypnotherapy, in starting hypnotherapy. What training do you recommend? Do you recommend this training or that training? Do you recommend NLP training, a hypnotherapy diploma? What do you recommend? Now, over the last few years, I've always given people a very similar answer. I've said what I would recommend you do is avoid a long, in-depth hypnotherapy training, which seems like a weird thing. You know, why wouldn't somebody want to go in deep and really learn the whole subject from end to end? Why wouldn't they want to do that? Well, the reason is to become really good as a hypnotherapist or hypnosis change worker, however you want to frame it up, you need experience. It's time on the ground that's going to make the difference. It's that real world experience that's going to make the difference. So you want to get started working with people as quickly as possible, and you want a concise, tight little format for doing that. What often happens to people, I've seen it over and over again, when people do long hypnotherapy trainings, I mean, they have their place, they have their value, but I've seen it over and over again. People go through the training and they come out the other end almost bewildered by the amount of choice they have. This technique, this idea, that idea, all of this stuff has been lumped upon them. They don't know this stuff deeply. They've been introduced to this stuff, and they often have no clear criteria by which to make decisions when actually working with clients. So they're just overwhelmed. They're overloaded with ideas and underloaded with practice and real experience. So to remedy this, I've always recommended that people take a very short course and learn one simple thing and learn how to do it well. You see, because when you learn one simple thing and how to do it well, you have a starting point. You have a place where you can hang a shingle on your door. You can start to see clients, recognizing that what you have is limited necessarily, but you can start seeing clients start developing real skills, start making a difference for people right off the bat, and go from there and start to layer in other stuff as you choose, as you develop over time. But the most important thing, I think, is getting enough to hit the ground running and start working. So traditionally, what I've always recommended people do, and this is a kind of imperfect solution given they're asking me about hypnotherapy, I've always recommended that people do Andrew T. Austin's IEMT training, Integral Eye Movement Therapy training. Why? It's not hypnosis, but what Andy does in that weekend training is he teaches the method. As I say, it's not hypnosis, but he also teaches how to structure a client session, and that is really, really important. How to structure a client session. Now, Andy structures client sessions very differently from how I structure client sessions personally. So, and also Andy's IEMT training, it's a fantastic training. IEMT is really good, but it's not hypnosis. It's not a hypnosis training as such. So what I've decided to do, having had this inquiry one too many times, I guess, maybe 10 too many times, is to run such a training myself. And this is what I'm talking about here. I have this training coming up. It's called Hypnotherapy Heresy, and it is about equipping you with everything you need to hit the ground running seeing clients. It's about how to structure a hypnosis change work session or a hypnotherapy session from end to end, from beginning to end. In fact, from when somebody phones you up, all the important details, because that's actually when the change work starts, when you're having the very first conversation with somebody before the formal session. But it's about structuring the session from end to end and giving you minimal effective tools so you're not overwhelmed with choice, so you can start working with people, start developing your skills for real in the real world. Now, why is it called Hypnotherapy Heresy? Why have I chosen this title, Hypnotherapy Heresy? Well, there's a number of reasons. First off is the one I've just given you. The classical view is you want to learn hypnotherapy, you need this deep, in-depth course. I'm being heretical. I'm saying, no, you don't need a deep, in-depth course. You need enough. You need just enough really highly focused material to set you off so you hit the ground running and you're able to start doing some reasonably effective work with people straight off the bat and refining that to more and more effective work. Then you can bring stuff in, other things after the fact as you see fit to do so. So it's kind of heretical from that perspective. It's also called Hypnotherapy Heresy because the last time I taught a hypnosis workshop, I had somebody run out in tears saying you don't even believe in hypnosis. Now actually this person came back in the session and I got some really good feedback afterwards from this person about the training, but I think the thing that was upsetting was that the model of hypnosis I was presenting was radically different from the classic old school models of hypnosis and what it's about and how it works now. And the models I'm going to be presenting you are about getting underneath the hood, not just accepting what's said about hypnosis on the surface, lifting up the bonnet, getting in there, getting into the mechanics of it so you can really understand what you're doing in a way that enables you to psychologically stack the deck in your favor. I'm very, very keen on doing this, on psychologically stacking the deck. Often the places that make the real difference when you're doing change work are not the obvious places. They're not the obvious centerpiece technique, so to speak, that you're doing that's really going to make the difference. What's going to make the difference are all the psychological subtleties that sit around it. This is why this training is predominantly about the whole session from end to end, where you're slipping in those bits and pieces that really stack the deck in your favor. We're going to be covering the basics of hypnosis, kind of classic hypnosis, although with a different model underpinning it and making sense of it. The basics of basic change procedures, simple, keeping it simple, nuts and bolts stuff. This is stuff that I used when I did a lot of hypnotherapy, which I don't do now. I do more coaching and that kind of thing these days. But when I did a lot of hypnotherapy, this was my bread and butter stuff, so to speak. So I'm going to be teaching that. I'm going to be teaching how to round off sessions, how to future pace, how to generalize change out. We're keeping it super focused, super concise, no fat, so to speak. It's all meat, no fat. This is what Hypnotherapy Heresy is about. Now I want to be clear. I'm going to give you the dates and the details in the information box below. If you're interested in doing this training, Hypnotherapy Heresy, I know what I need to say. Who is this for and who is this not? This training is for people who have already done some reading around hypnosis, already have started exploring it, they already have an interest, maybe have gone out and done some street hypnosis, maybe have been practicing with friends and family, maybe have been doing it in another context and are looking to take that step across the threshold to doing hypnosis change work or hypnotherapy or however you want to frame it. This is who this training is for. If you are a seasoned hypnotherapist, you've been doing your thing for a long time, you've got your way of working, you've got your ideas, all of this kind of thing, this workshop is not for you, okay? You're probably just going to come along and end up pissed off at what I'm saying because it's going to be really at odds. As I say, it's Hypnotherapy Heresy, it's going to be at odds with those old school kind of models. So this is for people who are looking to step across that threshold, start seeing clients, start making differences for people and developing your skills from the ground up as a hypnotic change worker or hypnotherapist. Okay, so the details are below. There are going to be 10 places only on this workshop, 10 places only. Check out the details below. If you want to make sure you get on it, please do, because I seriously doubt that I will run this more than once. So check out the details below, grab hold of one of your places, grab hold of one of the places, your place. Make sure you're there if you want to do this. And of course, feel free to use the comment section below here as well to ask any questions you want to ask about the event.